let's talk about America's least favorite press secretary. Boy, do I miss Sarah Sanders and Kayleigh McEnany.
Yeah.
They were so good at their jobs. Jen Psaki is terrible. And yesterday, her performance was no different. Someone finally confronted Psaki about the supply chain issues that are facing America right now. I think all of us have been impacted by high grocery prices, gas prices, not being able to get things shipped to us in time. We're talking about kids who aren't going to have Christmas presents this winter. Biden is stealing Christmas from kids. It's a big problem. So someone confronted Psaki on this, and her response was terrible. She basically laughed it off and joked about it. We actually have a video that I want to show you guys so you can hear what Psaki had to say.
It was clear in March of 2020 when COVID hit that the supply chains across the world had been disrupted. Even as the sort of work to fight back against COVID proceeded, it was crystal clear that things were not improving on supply chain. People couldn't get dishwashers and furniture and treadmills delivered on time, not to mention all sorts of other things. So why is
the tragedy of the treadmill that's delayed?
Right, the treadmill.
So Psaki thinks, it's the tragedy. It's a high class problem, basically. Oh, you can't get your treadmill, so what? Like, no, Jen, that wasn't the point of the question. The point is, like, people can't get these critical items. People can't get toilet paper. People can't get gas in their cars. Like, this isn't just some high class problem. You guys all remember the White House chief of staff retweeting that tweet about how inflation and supply chain issues are just high class problems. No, in fact, the upper class is the least impacted by this issue. It's people like us. It's people like you that are most impacted. And Biden has done nothing to solve it. His wild plan to fix the supply chain crisis was truck drivers can drive at night. Well, I think any of us who have ever been on a road trip or have driven at night know that truck drivers already drive at night. So it's just this really strange messaging that we're seeing. I want to pin it to you, Tara. Why this messaging? What is the reason? How is this beneficial to the Biden administration?
Why this messaging is because they, first of all, don't really know who they're talking to. They're completely disingenuous. They're completely separated from everyday Americans and everyday American issues. In fact, the State Department just today tweeted about National Pronouns Day.
Yes.
And I can guarantee you, no one on the planet cares about National Pronouns Day. It's just blatantly ignoring the real issues that people are facing. And, the Washington Free Beacon even pointed out that she was joking. And again, it's because it's this level of tone deafness where we're not actually caring about issues. The American people feel forgotten and left behind once again, which is what brought them Donald Trump in the first place. And they're repeating the same steps or mistakes over and over again. And so people are just upset. And even today, I think I saw a Gallup poll that said Biden's numbers are dipping down to 40% or 42% approval. So, there's so many issues here. And I think that's kind of the main one.
Grant, why this messaging? What's behind it?
I don't know. I really don't see a way that this is going to be beneficial for the Biden administration. Like Tara mentioned, there's a lot of outlets who are saying, well, she was joking. Like, it's clearly a joke. I don't know why you're taking it so seriously. It's like, okay, like, we realize it was a joke. Like, she's being sarcastic about the treadmill being late. Like, we get that she's not being serious. But that's not the problem. The problem is that these very real crises that have been created by the president that she works for are just something that we laugh off. She does it all the time. Every time Peter Doocy asks a question, then she just laughs it off, and she either will launch into a personal attack against him or she'll make some sort of sarcastic comment. And the media treats it as if it's like she's being some great leader. They're like, oh, look at this strong woman. Like,
she destroyed Doocy.
Doocy. Yeah, it's like, ridiculous.
Oh, she said, I'll circle back or something.
Yeah, I'll circle
stupid.
back.
Yeah.
She's been circling back. That's actually why all the ships aren't coming in. They're just circling.
She told them to circle back to the port. Yeah. We'll see you later. I think this really shows, like, how disconnected the elite ruling class is from the rest of America. I mean, truthfully, Psaki and Biden and other people in the administration, they probably haven't had to deal with these supply chain issues like the rest of us could. Psaki makes $180,000 a year. She probably lives in some, posh Washington, D.C. house or apartment. She lives close to work, so she doesn't have to drive far, doesn't have to deal with gas. Like, these people are so disconnected from heartland America, people like you and I, they just think these issues are non-issues, and they just laugh it off, and they think that it'll magically get better. And this messaging is terrible when the president, I saw another poll today where he's at 36% approval rating. It's underwater. It looks like a Republican's going to win in Virginia soon. The generic congressional ballot is looking terrible for Democrats next year. Like, how could you possibly think that laughing about the biggest issue in America right now is going to do you any favors?
I feel like the only answer to your question, really, for the reasoning for doing this would be that they think that this is their only option. I mean, I don't think that they have any real action steps to take. I mean, the transportation secretary is on paternity leave with his homosexual lover. And I mean, they have no real plan.
No.
So it's like, I think that laughing is their only option because they can't actually address it.
I have said this on the show before. It's like nothing is real anymore. It's like watching a reality TV show. I mean, the president can barely speak when he's on TV. He never leaves the White House. When he does, it's a complete and utter disaster. Psaki's an utter disaster. Kamala Harris is a disaster every time she leaves. It's like watching, it's almost like a bad SNL skit that they created, and they're just reading the scripts from some writers at SNL. I don't know how SNL isn't having more fun with this. I mean, they practically could copy word for word what happens in the Biden admin. So what do you guys think is going to be the consequences for Democrats from this messaging? What is going to happen to them next year and beyond because of this just lack of care? Is it going to come back to haunt them? What do you think?
I think it will come back to haunt them because we've seen time and time again, and I know we've talked about it on the show before, is that even Black Lives Matter in New York City has gone against the vaccine mandates. A lot of people are against the vaccines for very legitimate reasons. People don't want to be told what they have to do medically and make medical decisions. And so I think there is a prime example of this radical leftist organization that's literally throwing punches right now to not have this happen. And so I think that you're going to see this wake-up call and this shift because, again, it doesn't matter that we all can sit here and be like, hey, voting has a real implication. It actually matters the policies you're voting on. We've said that for years. And so now we're seeing the supply chain issues. Now we're seeing the prices go up. We're seeing inflation. We're seeing gas prices go crazy. These are real-time issues that are going to impact people. And people are going to go, hey, you know what? I miss when my biggest concern was what Donald Trump woke up and tweeted this morning. I miss when my biggest concern was whether or not he made a fat-phobic comment about Rosie O'Donnell. People miss those issues, and I think that that's really going to come back and haunt them.